What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 19, Episode 1. So, this is the very first time that Married at First Sight is going to be broadcasting on a streaming service, which is Peacock. For the past 18 seasons, it has been on a network, a cable network, Lifetime. And because now that it's on a streaming service, they're releasing a whole bunch of episodes at once. So I knew that it was going to be premiering, that season 19 was going to be premiering on October the 23rd. I was ready to go. For some reason, I thought that because when I looked at my Peacock and I saw that Married at First Sight episode 1 had already aired, I thought, okay, I'll watch episode 1. This was like around 7 o'clock at night, I think it was, or 6 o'clock. No, it's about 6 o'clock in the evening. I thought, okay, I'm going to watch episode 1 nice and early, 6 o'clock, knock it out, do my review, be done with it. Well, as soon as episode 1 ended, episode 2 started. And I was like, wait a minute, how many episodes do they release all at once? And so then I looked and I saw that it was 4 episodes, each of them an hour long. I was like, Lord have mercy. So I knew that I was going to be doing a review Thursday night. And Friday night is dedicated to Bell Collective. And so here I am Saturday doing my review for Married at First Sight, which came on Thursday. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to do this. When am I going to watch it? When am I going to post it? I have no idea and I will be watching 4 episodes back to back at once. If that's how they're going to be doing it, dropping 4 episodes every week, I'm going to watch all 4 episodes because I don't want episodes to pile up on me if I don't watch them all at once. You know what I mean? I'm going to start falling behind. So here we go. Season 19, episode 1. Let's get started. We have 5 couples. Now, what's interesting about this season is that we have 2 older couples who are both of them, I think, both couples, everybody's over the age of 50. I think one of them, she's 63. So I thought that was refreshing because I've always said that Married at First Sight should feature older people. Because I was getting really burnt out on these 20-year-olds, 20 something year olds, thinking that they were ready to get married. And a lot of those marriages end up failing because they're not ready to get married. And why they're on a show called Married at First Sight was beyond me because these kids are in their 20s. They're still trying to figure themselves out. They're still trying to figure life out, but they want to jump into a marriage, sight unseen. So I'm very happy that we have more seasoned couples this season. Another interesting factor for this season is that we have a mother-daughter duo. So we have a mother and a daughter who are both going to be getting married at first sight. And so that's interesting. So 2 guys are going to be marrying into the same family. But I want to get started with Will and Britney. And the reason why I want to get started with them was because out of all the couples, I was the most invested in them because they had such a great start. They had such a great start. So, because I watched it on Thursday, I didn't take notes when I realized, how long it was going to be. So I didn't take notes and I'm just going off memory. So Will and Brittany, they look to be about in their early 30s, I believe. Both of them, cute as a button, adorable. They look so good together. They look good individually. They both seem to have like a really good head on their shoulders. I don't know what they do for a living. I forgot. But when I saw them matched, I was happy. I was excited, mostly because they did look really cute together. I remember at the wedding, at the wedding itself, I'm going to be all over the place because I didn't take notes, so please forgive me. At the actual wedding, when they were at the altar exchanging their vows, they could not stop looking at each other. Um, I don't even think they blinked. They stared at each other so hard. They didn't look left, they didn't look right. The whole entire time at the altar, they were staring right at each other. And plus, I really liked her dress. I liked his suit as well. So after they got married, they sat down and they talked, and the conversation went really well. They complimented each other. She talked about how good looking he was. He talked about how she thought that she was really beautiful. He loved her dimples. He loved her smile. A little bit of background about Brittany. She has, I think, 3 sisters in total. One of her sisters passed away during COVID. And she has another sister that's not married, and then another sister, I think, that's married but didn't have an actual wedding ceremony. So this was the very first wedding ceremony her parents were going to be attending for one of their daughters. So it was really special for the whole entire family. At the reception, when Will went to go introduce himself to Brittany's parents, they asked what he did. I think he's in IT. And so they were good with that. And then they asked about his religious background. And Will said that he really wasn't that religious. I don't think his parents were even that religious. And you can tell immediately that this was very concerning to Brittany's parents, that he didn't go to church. He didn't really believe in organized religion. He didn't consider himself Baptist or Christian or anything like that. And so her father was like, "You do believe in something, though, right? You do believe." No, her father said, "You do believe in God. You may not follow a specific religion and you might not belong to a specific church, but you do believe in God, right?" And there was like this really long silence, which I don't know if that was edited in to add drama to this scene or if it was really that awkward. He said, well, after the silence, he said, "I believe that there's something." Okay. The question was, "You do believe in God?" And he responded with, "I believe that there's something." So that was very concerning to the parents. You could tell on their faces that they were not jiving with that at all. Okay, fine. I don't know if anybody told Brittany this, but the evening went on, the reception was great. Things started to kind of fall apart at the honeymoon. Their first night together, before they left for the honeymoon, they spent their first night together after the wedding. I don't think that they consummated their marriage. They didn't consummate their marriage until the honeymoon. So their very first night at the honeymoon, they were intimate. So the next morning, we see them sitting in bed having a very serious conversation. I was like, "Oh man, what happened now?" So the problem was when they were intimate the night before, right afterward, Will told Brittany that they need to slow down and that they probably should not do that again. Now, I thought when she was telling us what happened, when she was kind of giving us the background of the previous night, I thought she had said that they kind of got caught up in the moment and they didn't use precaution. And so maybe they were kind of worried after the deed was done. And so Will was like, "Okay, we need to slow down because, we weren't thinking straight. We got caught up in the moment." And that they should have used some type of protection or whatever, but they didn't. That's what I thought. So I thought he was having second thoughts about them being intimate again because of the fact that they had messed up and did it without protection. That's what I thought. But as their scenes continued on, it seemed like it had nothing to do with the possibility of an accidental pregnancy. It had more to do with him just having second thoughts about sleeping with her, period. Because she talked about how in the past, this has happened to her before, where she was intimate with a partner and then immediately afterwards, her partner would say, "Oh, okay, let's slow down now. We're moving too fast with this relationship." And so she told him that. She goes, "Yeah, so it kind of triggered me when you said that you wanted to slow things down because this has happened to me before." And then the relationship just fizzles out. And Will told her, "Well, it's not going to fizzle out because we're married. I'm not going anywhere because we're married. And so we're in this for the long haul." So I don't know if his regret for sleeping with her was because they didn't take precautions and now they're worried, or if his regret was just the fact that they're moving too fast, which really would hurt her feelings. And so far, up until episode 4, they're still on the honeymoon, but their honeymoon now has kind of dampened a little bit because of this incident that happened between them. So I was a little bit disappointed that Will and Brittany started off so wonderfully. They were both very attracted to each other. I hate saying this, I sound like a broken record, but they look so good together. They look so cute together. Um, and also, I think do they struggle with communication? I think they also kind of struggled with communication because I think there was like a scene where they were having dinner and it's like they're not on the same level when it comes to communicating. They're not communicating very well together. It kind of seems like Brittany is quick to take offense and Will is not quick to apologize. He's not quick to realize that maybe he could have said something that might have come out wrong, or might have had a negative effect on her. I don't know. And he's not quick to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. He just kind of keeps on going. So their communication, I think, might need some work. So I'm not really clear on exactly what the issue was with them being intimate. Was it just moving too fast, or was it because they didn't take precautions and now he's kind of worried about that? I really don't know. And by the way, we do know that there will be a pregnancy this season on Married at First Sight. So I was trying to figure out exactly who it was, and I couldn't figure it out. No, I did. I have my guess on which couple probably ends up possibly getting pregnant. I have my guess, but we'll get there. Moving on from there, let's talk about Josh and Jaylen. So Josh and Jaylen, what popped out to me about them? They're a good looking couple. Okay, they're a very good looking couple. When they saw each other at the altar, there was instant attraction. They're, like I said, they look really good together. Now, Josh comes from a very poor background. He mentions this a lot when he's talking to us, that he came from very meager beginnings. He was raised by, I think, his mother, I think, and his father was on a part of his life. I don't know if he didn't even know who his father was until he was an adult. So when he was an adult, he did one of those ancestry things, and it came back that he had a sibling. And so the sibling got in contact with him, and that's how he met his father, through the sibling that he met through the ancestry DNA thing. And he met his father when he was a grown man. And that was the very first time that he met him. Didn't know who he was, couldn't have picked him out, couldn't have picked this man out of a lineup. So they met, everything went well. He still has a relationship with his dad. His dad is still a part of his life. He even mentioned how his dad, like every single morning, texts him good morning. So I thought it was kind of odd that his father wasn't at the wedding. So his father didn't attend, or he wasn't invited. I don't really know. And his mother also was not at the wedding. So he's got issues with his mom as well, which to me is kind of like a red flag. I understand that sometimes, you might have to go no contact with your parents, or you have issues with your family, so on and so forth. But if they're so bad that you don't want them at your wedding, to me, that would be a red flag. It would be a red flag if someone is not getting along with their parents. Because whatever's going on, I would hope and pray that by the time they meet me and are married to me, that they have resolved this trauma, that they've addressed it in some way. But if it's still there and it's still lingering and the issues are still there, I think that might be problematic. So Jaylen comes from a divorced family. Her parents are divorced. She has a twin brother and she has another brother. I forgot, she does real estate, and I think, does she do real estate? I don't remember what she did. Josh, let's talk about one more thing about Josh before I move on to Jaylen. He talked about how he grew up really, really poor, like dirt poor, and he was able to make something of himself. So he has a roofing company, and he said that within 3 years he made $500,000. So he's doing really well for himself, and it seems like means a lot to him because he didn't have it growing up. Jaylen, I think she does real estate and something else, but I forgot. And her parents are divorced. She's got two brothers. One of them is her twin. And both of her parents were at her wedding. Everything went well with their wedding. When they were at the altar, they did kiss, which I was happy to see that. Every time I see a couple actually kiss on the lips at the wedding, at the altar, I'm happy. Will and Britney, they also kissed at the altar. And we meet Jaylen's mother, and we find out that Jaylen's mother is also going to be married at first sight as well. So that's the mother daughter duo. I don't have anything else to say. They did get busy pretty early on in their relationship. They got busy. They got busy. I think, was it on the first night? I don't think they did it the first night, but I think they did. They do it on the first night. I think they did. I don't remember, but they did it on the plane on their way to their honeymoon. They joined the Mile High Club. They did it on the plane because they were challenged by another couple. Another couple has sent out a group tag saying, "Hey, who's gonna want to join the Mile High Club?" Josh and Jaylen did. So they did it in the bathroom. They did it at the honeymoon, so they're getting real busy. And I think that might be the couple that has a oops pregnancy. I think it's probably going to be Josh and Jaylen. That's just my guess. That's just my hunch. I don't have anything else to say. Josh is enamored by Jaylen. Jaylen adores Josh. On their honeymoon, when they're having breakfast, their first morning. Are they in Mexico? I don't know where they're at. No, they're in Panama. They went to Panama for their honeymoon. All the couples went to Panama. So their very first morning having breakfast, Josh talked about how what is it called? It's an event, Burning Man. I think it's called the Burning Man event in California. It's really important to him. It's really important, and he attends it every year. And he wants Jaylen to also attend it with him. And Jaylen was like, "Well, I'm not a really outdoorsy kind of girl. I don't do, sleeping in a tent, camping. I really don't do any of that. Bugs scare the hell out of me. It's not really my thing." And you can tell that he was very disappointed. He was very disappointed in that. But I think she decided that she was going to give it a try, I guess, just to appease him. That's all I have to say about Josh and Jaylen. Something about Josh made me think that, um, well, it makes me wonder if he is 100% straight. Just something about him kind of gave me some vibes. I don't want to go too much into it because it's probably nothing. Um, my gaydar has been needing repairs for a very long time. So I don't know if what I'm picking up is there or not there. But when I watch Josh, when I look at him, something about him kind of gives off that he may not. I don't know. Maybe he is. You can have very masculine gay men. You can also have feminine straight men. So maybe that's what's going on here. Moving on from them, where we have Belinda, who is Jaylen's mother, okay, and Chad. So when I first saw Belinda and Chad, I was like, this is not going to work because Chad was one of those people, he's always on. He's constantly making jokes, trying to be funny. It was too much in the beginning. Does Chad have any kids? Yes, he does. Chad does have two boys, and Belinda, she's got a girl who is Jaylen, and the other two boys. And Belinda's beautiful. That woman is gorgeous. I think she is so beautiful. I love the her salt and pepper hair. I love the gray in her. I think she's really, really adorable. Chad has really pretty eyes. Very pretty eyes. And so there was an attraction when they got married. There was definitely an attraction there when they saw each other. Belinda did mention to us, not to him, but she did mention to us that, he needs to be serious. It was a lot. Him constantly making one joke after another. It was a little bit too much. Obviously, he's nervous, and maybe this is how he deals with his nerves. And so, we'll give him a pass, and hopefully, he will kind of slow down a little bit as time goes on. The thing that really stood out for me for Chad and Belinda. So when they got married, when they exchanged rings, it was like regular bands. Now, another thing about this season is that we don't have all the nonsense in the beginning, like the bachelor and bachelorette parties. Who cares about that? Them trying on their suits and their wedding gowns. Nobody cares about that. The guys finding rings. We don't see any of that. We're like straight to the altar. We get a little bit of background and boom, we're at the altar. We're getting married. So I noticed that the rings that they exchanged were just regular bands. And so when they were in Panama, or on their way to Panama, Chad said that no, before they even left for Panama, Chad had said that we need to upgrade our rings. And so he bought her like this beautiful diamond ring. I don't know how many carats it was, but it was eye catching. It was a big, nice size, big old diamond on her finger. And he bought that for her. And he also upgraded his band. And I was like, wow, Chad ain't playing around. They get to Panama. Everything was fine. And were they the couple? No, I don't think it was them. Everything was fine. I don't think they joined the Mile High Club. I don't think they did. I don't think they took up that challenge. They got to Panama, everything was fine. It seems like Chad likes to spend money on his woman, it seemed like. She also had mentioned that, like I said, his jokes were a little bit too much, but I think in Panama he kind of slowed down a little bit and they were able to actually have conversation. She thought he was adorable. He thought she was beautiful. So Chad and Belinda, everything is fine. I can't really think of anything else, but I feel like they were fine. I hope so, if memory serves me correctly. Moving on from them, we have Pat and Rhonda. Oh, by the way, Chad and Belinda, obviously, because Belinda has adult children, they are one of our older couples. Pat and Rhonda, another older couple. Rhonda's the one that is 63. Pat, I think he's in his late 50s. Rhonda is one of those women that she's very eccentric. She loves to be quirky, and she is going a mile a minute. Her batteries are fully charged. And yeah, her batteries are fully charged. She has a lot of energy. She doesn't slow down. You see, whenever I see women like this, to me, I feel like they're so like they want to prove to the world, hey world, I'm quirky, I'm fun, I'm weird, I'm um eccentric, I'm strange, I'm like something you've never seen before. And it's like, lady, women like you are a dime a dozen. I hate to break it to you, but we've seen a lot of older women who are like this. They're just wild and crazy, and they think that they're so unusual and so unique, but they're really not. Because I've seen women like this before. They really want to prove that they're not your typical grandma. They're not your typical, 60 something year old woman. They don't want to just sit around and bake cookies and knit in the rocking chair. They want to live life and go skydiving and deep sea diving, and they want to try all these crazy wacky things, and they love to dance in the rain and all this other stuff. And it's like, girl, we get it, we understand. After they got married, she wanted to jump in the pool, and oh, by the way, her wedding gown was red. She didn't want to wear white, so she wore a red wedding gown. um your boy Pat, he's also very lively, full of life, but it comes off a little bit more naturally than her. I think he was in the military, he was in the Air Force or something, so he likes to jump out of planes. um Very active, energetic, 50 something year old man. So they match energy. They match energy really well. Like I said, after they got married, when they have that time where they talk to each other, after they talked and everything, she wanted to jump in the pool fully dressed. And that's what she did. She jumped in the pool in her wedding gown, and he jumped in the pool with his full wedding suit on. So it is what it is. That was fine. It was whatever. I thought it was a little bit too much, but whatever. And when they got to Panama, we saw some cracks in their relationship, because their very first morning in Panama, they were sitting on the patio or on the balcony of their resort, and they were having breakfast. And the whole entire time, Pat just talked about himself. He didn't ask Rhonda any questions. Hardly let her get a word in edgewise. She briefly mentioned how she had lost everything in a fire, I think. And you would have thought he would have a lot of follow up questions about that, like, oh my God, your house burned down to the ground. What was that like? What did you lose, or whatever? What was the experience like? Nope. She talked about how her house burnt down, and he just was like, uh huh. And then he moved on back to talking to himself, which is like an extremely annoying quality in a person. Someone like, no matter what you say, no matter what you try to add to the conversation, they turn it right back to talking about themselves, and it's very irritating. And the way that they edited this scene, they made it seem like this breakfast lasted 3 hours, and the whole entire time he just talked about himself. And you can see that Rhonda was getting frustrated, she was getting impatient, and so already there's an issue there. Hopefully he's going to be able to scale it back if she brings it up to him, which I hope that she does. Like, you need to slow down a little bit. We have the rest of our lives to learn about each other. You don't have to give me your whole entire life story over breakfast. Let's converse. This is not a show and tell where I have to just sit back and listen to you talk. Let's converse. Let's both add to the conversation, and let's get to know each other better. Moving on from there, we have Derek and Megan. I thought Derek was kind of weird, because he's very quiet. Okay, he's very quiet. He's got this very stoic look on his face. You can't tell. You don't know what the hell Derek is thinking. But anyway, they're two very um, Barbie and Ken looking people. She's blonde. She's got, the boobage. She's got the boobs. I don't know if they're real or what. I think they might be implants. That's just my guess. They're both very attractive, but they're both very waspy, very wasp looking, very white Anglo-Saxon Protestant looking. And they look really good together. They truly do. But at the altar, okay, she walked herself down the aisle. Her mother's there. And does she have a sibling there? Her mom is there for sure. Her dad wasn't there and her brother wasn't there because I don't know if they don't agree with the process, but for sure she said that they were very private people. And so and her mother's is a handful. Her mother, you can tell, does not like this at all. She's not in support of this, but she's there. When she was getting ready for the wedding, doing the makeup and the hair, her mom just really had like a very stink look on her face the whole entire time. And her mom is not crazy about this at all. She thinks that Megan is making a mistake. Megan doesn't care. She's going to do what the hell she wants to do. Megan is the one for sure. She's in real estate, I think. And she also is part of the family business, which I'm not sure exactly what that family business is. I don't remember. But she does work in the family business. I think she's also in real estate. I don't know. So her mom isn't supporting. Her brother and her dad aren't there for whatever reason. And she walks herself down the aisle. And like I said, she's beautiful. She's attractive. He's also very good looking. And when he saw her, there was like no expression on his face. Even as she got to the altar and they're standing, facing each other, there was like no expression on his face at all. You cannot figure out at all what this man is thinking or what he's feeling. But we find out eventually that he was very pleased with him being matched with her. He thought that she was very attractive. Same thing with her. Um, I don't remember anything really popping out at the reception other than when he introduced himself to her mother. That conversation was a little bit tense. The mother made it very clear that she did not agree with this process. But whatever, she's there. When they went to their hotel room after their ceremony and they begin to, take off their wedding attire, she notices that he's pretty ripped because he works out, he takes care of himself. He owns his own, some type of a holistic business or something. Um, Not holistic, like some type of nutritional food business type of thing, something about health, being healthy and being fit, something about that in that industry, health and fitness industry. And he takes care of himself. So his body shows that he does work out and he really cares about, being fit and healthy. And she was instantly attracted to his body when she saw him. The abs and everything. She talked about how he's got these wonderful abs, so on and so forth. So she's very, very attracted to him. I don't remember if they consummated their marriage though on their wedding night, but eventually I think they did have sex in Panama for their honeymoon. I think they did. Now, he told her, was it? No, it was Josh. Well, it was Josh that talked about the prenup. So going back real quick to Josh and Jaylen, Josh owns his own business and he has a business partner. And he told Jaylen over breakfast that she's going to have to sign a prenup, or he's requesting for her to sign a prenup. And he was really worried and nervous about bringing this up to her. And she was like, no, I totally get it. I understand. I understand how it goes. I don't have an issue with that at all. So she was cool with that. She was cool with signing the prenup. I just had to mention that real quick about Josh and Jaylen. But back to Derek and Megan. Um, I don't remember anything else about Derek and Megan. I'm going to take better notes next time. I was just a little bit blindsided by the fact that they released 4 episodes all at once. But I'm going to take better notes next time. This is not my usual work. Okay. I'm very detail oriented when I do my reviews. So hopefully next time it's going to be a whole lot better. But it's 4 hours long and I'm not trying to do like an hour long review. So I'm going to keep it, well, it might have to be an hour long. I'm going to try to keep it under an hour because it's a lot, a lot of information to go over. Yeah, so that's it. That's my little quick convo on Married at First Sight, season 19, episode 1. It's airing on the streaming service Peacock. It's not on Lifetime anymore. If you're trying to find it, if you want to watch it along with me, yeah, that's my little quick little review. I don't have anything else to say. If I left anything really, really, really important out, please let me know, and then we'll talk about it at my next review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later.